In today's video, we are going to discuss the Ragozin defense, how to play it and how to play against it. In view of the games being played by Dr. Yu, actually he plays regularly Ragozin defense, and Muhammad Salahuddin, his game is how to play against the Ragozin defense, and Yunus Malgani, that how to play against Ragozin defense when you did not allow your opponent to play the proper opening, they play the proper Ragozin defense. We will look into these three games, but the first game we are going to look at is between Yunus Malgani and Dr. Ayub. And in this game, Dr. Ayub has prepared a lot against Yunus Malgani. It is a great example of home preparation being done, and a tremendous game he played against Yunus Malgani, and it was played in a rapid match. I think at least 3 to 4 months Dr. Ayub gave to this preparation. So let's start with the basic concepts against the Ragozin defense. Ragozin defense is a part of Queen's Gambit decline. In Queen's Gambit, we played d4, e4, knight c3, knight f3, and different structures. Bishop might be to d3 or bishop to f4, different structures. In Ragozin defense, we played d4. Sorry, but first move is knight f6 to stop white from playing the move e4. Black plays knight f6, g6, bishop g7, and when white has played the move c4, he would play the move d5. And after white takes on d5, the concept behind playing the move knight f6 is to take the pawn with the knight. Then after the move knight c3 by white, black is going to take the knight on the c3 and b into c3. There are too much arrows actually on the board. Let's start with the game, and in the game you will understand, I will let you understand the concepts behind the Ragozin defense. What are the plans behind the Ragozin defense? Let's start. Yunus Malgani opted for d4, knight f6. The main thing to have control of this d5 square and e4 square. Knight f3, g6, standard move. And this is actually a sideline being played by white. And this game will get very complicated. You will see in the future. Bishop g7, bishop g2, castle, castle, d4, a standard move in the Ragozin defense. And now from here, after this structure, after this move, now we understand that black is going to play Ragozin defense. Instead of it, if he plays this move, d6, then it is the territory of King's Indian defense. Whereas he played the move d4, the Ragozin defense is started now, e4, and here black personally takes the pawn on c4. Knight a6 to capture the pawn from the flank. Here the move Dr. Yu played, as per the computer it is a Dovey's one, but I think he prepared it against Yunus Malgani. It is just a choice of the opening lines, but the main moves which are being played in this opening are actually c6, then knight into c4, and this is how the black develops his light square bishop to e6. The concept is, if white hits this bishop with g4, black will take the knight on c4. After that, he will go for knight d7 and d6, sorry, e6, and the structure will resemble with Caro-Kann, where the black bishop has been exchanged or out of this white black pawn chain. But the difference is that in Caro-Kann, you does not Fanchito this bishop and knight in round about 90% of the variations. So white defends the knight on c4 by queen c2, knight d7, rook d1, protecting this pawn on d4, and in future he wants to move it to there, but it depends on the position that how black plays or how white plays. And a5, a standard response. And the concept is that black is going to play this, and then this, and he's open up this all the queen side for his pieces. Okay, let's go back to our game. B into c3, and here c5. The main concept behind the Ragozin is that you are going to hit this d4 pawn with all your power, even at sometimes at the expense of exchange, sacrificing your pawn, one pawn. See here, the knight is going to move here or here, and this diagonal a1 to h8 is being opened by the bishop, is hitting this pawn on d4, and in future the queen may come here on d7 or queen c7, and the rook on d8 or c8, and put a lot of pressure on these pawns, this pawn chain. This is the concept behind the Ragozin defense, and at some times black plays also the move e5, and bishop may come to over here, here on the g4 or f5 or on e6. Okay, let's continue with the game. Knight e5 and knight c6, offering a pawn to the white. And here actually Yunus Mulgani took the pawn after the moves knight into c6, pawn into c6, and bishop into c6. But this was not the standard move, because the reason behind is that black is trying to open these files for his pieces. So here this pawn is a poisoned pawn. Actually, you can't take this pawn over here. After that, you would have to make all the most accurate moves. Then you would be at the defensive end, not at the attacking end. Let's check out the main continuation over here, and that is knight c4, bishop e6, hitting the knight on c4, and queen d3 defending the knight on c4, and rook c1 protecting this pawn. And in fact, it is hitting the pawn on c3. See that how black is going to uh, put a lot of pressure on these pawns. The knight is going to move here, or the knight is going to move here, and after that 1 2 3, and when the queen will move to the d7 square, then the rook is also joining the fight and putting the pressure on this pawn. The problem here for the black is that white is that his bishop is stuck over here. He has no proper moves to play or proper squares, because black is not going to let him that time. Remember this. So in the game, the main line continues. This game was played between Judith Polgar and the grandmaster. I don't remember his name. And here, bishop to h3, hitting the pawn on this c5 square. Pawn into pawn, pawn into pawn. And now you see, I told you that black may give a pawn sacrifice to open up the position, to get his pieces to play very quickly instead of white pieces. Pawn into pawn, queen into queen, e into d3, rook d8, hitting the pawn on d3, rook d1, defending the pawn. Remember, in this position, always move this rook, not this rook, because in some lines you don't want that if the bishop takes and you take with the pawn, then this rook d8 takes the rook with check. Remember that. So the move is rook d1 over here, knight to d5 and d4, knight c3 and d5, bishop into d5, bishop into bishop, knight into bishop. And you may say that this position, in this, white has this extra pawn over here, but this pawn could be exchanged at any time. Black could take this, and this, the black pieces are in complete play over here. They are hitting something, or they are putting pressure on something, and they are free to move on the black squares, or they have full everything flexibility over here. Instead, you see the rook is over here and rook is over here, and it is doing nothing over here. The knight is, yes, it is doing something, but this bishop is stuck defending the pawn. So we go back to our main position. You may have understood the concepts behind this Ragozin defense until now. So here, Yunus Malgani took the pawn on c6, bishop h3, bishop back to g2, bishop into bishop, king into bishop, and queen d5 check. Instead of here, it was better to play the move knight e4 over here. This move was great actually, in a sense that if you take the pawn on c5, it is being attacked with knight on e4. This c3 pawn is being attacked by the knight, and in future black queen is coming to c7, and the rook is coming to c8, and these queen and rook are both attacking this file, and these both pawns are going to fall. The both pawns on c3 and d4, and these both pawns are going to fall. So the better move over here was knight e5. Let's check the little bit continuation in this line. Pawn into pawn, queen into c7, Then queen c2, hitting the knight over here, and queen to c6. C. The reason it was behind to play this move to c file, queen to c8 or c7, is to bring the queen to c6, pinning the king actually. It check when the knight will move. A discovered check for the king over here. King back to g1 and rook c1. Sorry, c8. See how the black is putting pressure on these two pawns. Here, four pieces of black are attacking these two pawns, and here only there is one defender by white. So the better move, instead of queen to d5 check, was knight e4. So let's go back. Queen d5 check, king g1, and rook d8. Here the best move for the king was, for the white was to play the move, this move, f3. This was the move actually over here. After that, black will take the pawn, c into d4, and then rook d8, putting pressure on this pawn. And black knight is going out from the way over here or here. And then there will be three pieces which will be attacking this pawn. There are two lines over here which I analyzed in very depth. And one is how to deal with this points under pressure position. Here one move is that you play e3, protecting this pawn, or you may play e4 directly, giving away this pawn to black, giving back the sacrifice of the pawn which the black gave in the opening. And I considered these two moves very deeply, and I studied them, and I think that e4 is better, because even when you play the move e3, you are still going to give out this pawn. And the position after this move, I was not comfortable for white to play with, because white kings get open and black is still in the play. Let's check out the both lines, e3 and e4. First we check the move e3, then rook to b8, rook f2, defending this rank, rook c8, taking hold of the open c file, and rook to c2 and g4. The reason behind was this move was to play this move. If black will get the chance, he will play the move h5 and h4, and sacrificing these two pawns also for the enormous attack over here. So rook b1, rook into rook, queen into rook, rook into b1, knight into b1, and the move g4. And here you see that white plays the move e4 here. First g into f3, giving the check to the king, king into f3, and then queen into d4. You say that even in this line where we played the move e3, we have to give back the pawn. So I considered that e4 is better to give away the pawn immediately to black. The reason behind this is to make our PCs active. Actually, our PCs are not active. Black PCs are going to get active. They are just with one moves. In one move, they are going to get active in just one move, or knight in two moves actually. But our white PCs are stuck over here. So I considered that the move e4 is better to give away this pawn on d4 immediately back to the black. So the game may continue, queen into pawn, queen into q, rook into queen, and rook b1 immediately taking control of b5, and rook attacking the knight, and rook b3 protecting the knight on a3, rook c1 immediately taking control of c5, and rook d1 first, not bishop e3, rook d1 first, that if you going to bring this rook to somewhere here, or you are here, I'm going to give the check immediately, and you will have to put your knight over here. You may have to sacrifice your knight. So the move is here to play the rook first, note the bishop on e3 first. So rook d1, and here after that, whatever the black would play, you may get your bishop to e3 or f4. Okay, we go back to our game. This game is very complicated one. I analyzed it very in depth, in complete depth. But here, white actually Yunus Mulgani blundered with the move. Sorry, it was a mistake, not a great blunder. King g1, rook d8, putting more pressure. Knight to c2, protecting this pawn. Queen c4, hitting the pawn on c3. Queen d3, queen into queen, pawn into queen, and pawn into d4, and you can't take back the pawn here because you are going to lose these pawns. Back pawn at any time, you would lose it. The black pieces will get more what do you say, that more active. It is not easy to hold this pawn. So Yunus Mulgani played the move over here, c4, and this is the best move of the game. This is the wonderful move. Dr. Ayub has really prepared this game very well. Actually, the concept behind this move is not to protect the pawn on base. There are actually 2 to 3 reasons behind these moves. To maneuver this knight from the f6 square to d6, then to b6, then to a4, and then to c3. Here. And this is a great move actually, done by Dr. Ayub in his preparation. I really like this move. Knight to d7 and bishop e3, and this is the dubious move. The reason behind playing this move was also to play these pawns forward, to attack this pawn on d3 by playing the move e4. It is a pawn storm which is going to roll over the white. It was an other reason to play this move, knight d7, and these are the type of moves we have to understand and we have to play in our games, which have great aspects in the game of playing different continuations. So e5, rook e1, and f5. bringing the storm on the white, and it is not easy for white to stop this storm, not at all. And f3 is actually a wrong move. Better was to play the move bishop to d6, and the continuation might be here e4, rook d1, and bishop to e5, and bishop e7, threatening rook to e8, and bishop back to a3. But why is white is under continuous pressure over here? See, there is no mobility for the white pieces over here. So here white played f3, rook e1, putting more pressure, rook d1, and now the maneuver starts. Bishop d6, knight to a4, and this was the mistake which caused Yunus Mulghani the game. Actually, here instead of playing the move to rook b1, white should have tried the move this knight to b4 move. After this knight c3, then rook c1, rook c8, king to f1, and this position is still very difficult to hold, although because we are actually humans, we are not computers, and computer says that it is just only -1 or -1.1 something for black, but on the board this position is very difficult for white to hold. We will go back to our main move which was done in the game, and that was a mistake which caused Yunus Mulghani actually the game. And rook b1, knight c6, sorry c3, and rook to b7. Actually here it was not best to play this move. Instead, again, he should have tried something else. But okay, we go with rook b7, and now the pawn rolling starts. F into e4, F into e4, and here it was a mistake. Take the pawn on basically e4. Instead, he should have gone for something like this, knight to b4, then a5. You are going to lose this, and knight to sorry d5, trying to exchange these pawns. After taking this, you can go over here. Sorry, I have told the wrong continuation over here. We will go back to the main game. Pawn into pawn, and here d3 hitting the knight on here. And here there was a very tricky defense in this position. Yunus Mulghani played the move bishop to b4 over here. His concept was actually when you would take the knight on c2, I'm going to take your bishop with check, king into rook, and bishop into knight into check, and I am going to come to c1 and then take this pawn. But in this variation which Yunus Mulghani calculated, white is going to lose both of these pawns. Here there was a very tricky try, and after that the game was not clear enough. Computer gives a lot of edge to black, as it is saying that black has a winning edge, but the game is not clear because it is a very complicated position. And that tricky, it is my personal analysis, and I may basically have pride of this analysis, that it is a very tricky defense. Although black is winning, I know that black is winning, but this defense is a very tricky one, and that is the move e3, rook to e3. Because wherever the knight moves, the black bishop is going to give this the check. But when you move the rook to e3, this square is covered by the knight on the c2 square. So let's go with the idea. Rook to e3. Pawn would not take this over here. The best continuation for black is to play the move to d2 and rook, stopping the pawn over here. Pawn becomes queen, rook into queen, knight into rook, and now the move, this c5 move, and rook into pawn over here. Now this position is not very clear. This pawn is 3 steps away from queening. The knight, white's position is down due to the reason that his knight has no proper squares. This is covered, e3 is covered by rook, d4 is covered by rook, and e1 is covered by rook, and a1 is covered by a bishop. Only white has this square, b4, and after b4, white may jump back to here or here. But the mobility of the pieces, of white pieces against black pieces, is very low. This is due to the fact that black position is overwhelming in this at here in this position. So let's go back to our main, which was played in the game, and after that the further game does not require most of the commands. After the move d3, bishop back to b4, played by Yunus Malgani, pawn into knight, rook into bishop check, bishop into knight check, king to f7, rook c1, rook take pawn, rook take pawn, rook take pawn, and see these both pawns have got fallen. I would again say that Dr. You did a very great home preparation against Yunus Milghani, because he did not make a single mistake or single inaccurate mistake. Even this was a rapid game. This was not a classical game. This was just a rapid game. We continue the game. Actually, the game does not require further commands over here. We will just continue with the game. And there it is, rook f2 check. King go back to g8. Bishop to e5. Rook c8. Pawn to a3. Rook gives check to the king. King to g2. Then rook to c2. Asking white that I am going to exchange the rooks. And bishop to e6. Pawn to a5. Keeping this square away from the bishop. Remember, these types of moves should be made, must be made whenever it is possible, whenever you get the chance to take away the squares from your opponent's pieces. So pawn to h4, rook attacking the bishop, bishop to e7, rook into rook check, king into rook, and now we just go over the game, and it was here that Yunus Malgani threw the towel. resigned actually. So this was a great game played with by Dr. Yu. We will look at the two other games in which the culprits were the playing who were playing with the white, and they were heavily prepared, and that was Muhammad Salahuddin, and he was heavily prepared against Dr. Yu's Ragozin defense. And now let's start with that game. Just a moment. Okay. d4, knight f6. Same concept I have already told you. Let's go over with the opening phase. See, this here, whenever the white plays his knight to c3, remember, the revision players are immediately going to play the move d5 over here. And after taking, they will take this with knight. And then obviously white has to take over the center. And white would play the move e4. Then black would take this knight b into c. And black is going to bring the bishop over here and going to hit over here by c, playing c5. This all happened in this game, and we are going to see this. This is a short game actually. Dr. Yu fell into Muhammad Salahuddin preparation or home analysis. d5, pawn into pawn, knight into pawn, e4, knight into 9, and b into c3, and bishop g7 first, not immediately c5. First go for the castle actually. First do the go for the king's safety. So here Salahuddin play the standard move, the line he prepared for Dr. Yu, knight f3, c5, the standard reply, and here bishop e3. There was also another moves. Actually, there are different opening lines in this Ragozin variation, Ragozin defense. But the line which Muhammad Salahuddin chose was bishop e3 actually. Knight c6, the reply, standard reply, and rook c1, and this is the move. If in the last game black played the beautiful move knight to e7, then Muhammad Salahuddin's rook c1 is a great move he prepared actually. That whenever I would you take this, sorry, pawn on d4 and I take this on d4, the c file will immediately open for me. Or if you comes with your queen to over here, putting pressure over here, I have a rook over here defending the c3 square, and my queen will come to b3 over here. And the other main point is that to bring this rook from a1 to c1 is to bring the rook from the harm's prey of this bishop, black's bishop. This is indeed a tremendous positional move done by Muhammad Salahuddin. When I was doing analysis, I did it myself and I did it with the computer. I was really amazed or thrilled with this rook c1 move. Like in the game where Dr. Yu played the move to knight e7. So black replied with bishop to g4. This was not better. Instead of here, black should have gone directly for castle over here. Or queen to c7. These were two good replies over here. But okay. Bishop to g4. and pawn to d5, threatening this knight on c6. Here, Dr. Yu took the knight on this f3 and giving away the bishop. I don't understand that why Dr. Yu, the most obvious move, knight to e5, why he did not play this move. This was one of the most obvious moves. And this was the simple continuation that he missed over here. Instead, he did the knight on f3. If we play the move here, white can't take this knight on e5 because his queen is pinned to bishop. The move he will do, white is going to give the check. Let's check this line. Bishop to b5 check. Now bishop back to d7. Bishop into bishop, and now this knight takes the bishop on d7. After that, here black has white is going. It is better to instead of playing castle, white should play the move h4, opting for h5, and keeping his king in the center for the attack on black. Let's check out all this. Okay, here if h4, white would go to queen a5, queen to b3, and then back to queen c7. Then h5, and here black would get castle on the queen side. Here c, black bishop is active. There are 3 defenders for the king on the queen side. If white plays, and what is white has achieved with it, that he is going to play the move to e5, bringing his rook to h4, and then transfer this rook to a4. This is white's plan. I repeat the white's plan to play h4, e5, and bring this rook to a4. Rook uplift. Then knight to d2 and knight to c4. These are the white's plan. And the black plan is already that it is hitting this pawn. Bishop is open, half open. Then if whenever if white takes here or black could take here, it depends. And black will hit the pawn on this hand on the e4 square, the pawn chain, this pawn chain. And he might play the move e5, exchanging these knights. Might be he might play the maneuver like this, knight to e5. Then he might play this. There, in this position, black and white both has plans to go with. So we get back to our main position, where Dr. Yu took the knight on f3, queen into f3, knight e5, first giving the check, bishop to b4, b5 check, to not letting black to castle. So king have to move, and king moves to f8. Then queen e2, queen a5. Now you understand the move a1 to e1, that rook protects this pawn on c3, and also this bishop's diagonal is blocked by this pawn. Here the best move, White just castles over here, and black plays the move rook c8, and this was the blunder actually done by black. This was one of the blunders which cost him the game. Here the move was to play was h5. The reason behind this h5 move was that when white is going to play the move f4, black is playing the move knight g4, and his knight is protected from the queen of white. And if white plays the move over here a3, then knight could go back to f6. This was the concept behind h5 move over here. Till here, the black's position, black is in defensive, black is at defensive end, but not worse position, not very worse that he could not play the game. But the move in the game, which black played rook to c8, was a blunder, because after this move f4, now black's knight does not have any squares to go to. So in response, black hits the bishop on b5. White takes the knight, queen into bishop, and here when you are position up, why you want to exchange the queens? White does not want to exchange the queens. Why should he? His position is very much better. So he went to g4, threatening the rook on c8, which he did. Queen g4 and rook to d8. And Dr. Yu fell into a simple tactics over here, and that was queen e6. Dr. Yu did not saw that coming, and the only defense was here to bishop to f6, rook into f6, pawn into f6, and here actually white had a win in just 4 moves, which he missed, because as per him, when I talked to Muhammad Salahuddin, he said when I talked to Muhammad Salahuddin, he said that I thought that my queen is not on e6, it is placed somewhere else, and it happens. Queen into f6. The main move was bishop h6 check, king here, then queen into f6, then a hopeless move to stop the draw, rook into queen, and there is no move that can stop the mate on d7. So he missed that, but still he won the game, and that is queen into f6, king e8, queen into rook, king d7, e6 check, pawn into pawn, pawn into pawn check. Black cannot take this pawn, so he goes back to c8. Queen comes back to center to e5, queen d3, queen into pawn on c5 check, king to b8, queen gives check on a7, king c8 check, king to c7, and here this was the blunder, and here actually the game became equal for black, which he missed actually. Dr. Yu played the move stopping the check with rook to d6. Instead, here the move was the simple one, king to b6. The white's queen is being trapped over here. It can't go to anywhere. and white has to give back the bishop to bring his queen back to a7. Oh, like this. Bishop to c7 check. After king takes bishop, then his queen can go out. Then black takes the pawn on e4 and the position is equal. This pawn is going to fall. You can't hold on to this pawn. It's not possible. So it's not possible to hold out this pawn. So here black missed this opportunity and he played the move king to d6, and after the move queen f8, Dr. Ayub designed. This video is becoming actually too much huge, so I am going to make the Yunus Mulghani versus Dr. Ayub game, next game pending for another video. If you like this analysis of Ragozan defense, you like my analysis, in-depth analysis of these two games, kindly subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you.